Hey guys, I just wanted to show you how to make one of my very favorite dishes. And this is a recipe that I have modified from Lisa Leakey's 100 Days of Real Food. This is one of my very favorite cookbooks because Lisa believes in eating real food and nothing processed, nothing that you can't go outside and find. And so one of my family's favorites is the Asian lettuce wraps. And these remind me of the lettuce wraps down at P.F. Chang's. And what I'm going to show you today is the modified version for the 21-day fixed meal plan. I count as a green, red teaspoon. So we'll talk a little bit about what modifications and stuff I've made to it in a minute. But your ingredients, as you can see, I've set up what I call mise en place, which this is how I set things up at school, which means you just get ready to cook. So you do all your prep work ahead of time. And so what we have here is the coconut oil, some green onions, minced carrots, minced ginger, sesame oil, which one of the modifications is I cut this in half from what the recipe calls for, crushed red pepper flakes, which I cut that in like half as well because you can always add more, you can't take it away, soy sauce, which is low sodium, water chestnuts, fresh cilantro, and then the recipe calls for pork, but I do ground chicken combined with ground turkey. The flavor's still there and it helps with the calorie and staying on the plan. Other than that, as far as modifications, I use butter head lettuce for the cups because I find that it holds up a little bit better. And so this is what our finished product is going to look like. So I'm going to show you kind of how to get started. So I have my pan preheated here, and the first thing I'm going to do is put in my coconut oil. And I'm going to put half of it in this pan and half of it in this pan. And you may be wondering, why is she doing two pans? Well, it's because this made my kitchen messy and I hate getting a messy kitchen. And so I am doing two double batches. And so that means that I am cooking one of these to eat for dinner tonight and 3 of them to put in the freezer for future meals, which is really gonna help prep time later on. So you put half of the green onions in one. So basically my original recipe, which I will post for you guys, I quadrupled it. So I did it a 4 batch. And half of the green onions in this one. And I'm gonna let this cook for, 1 to 2 minutes and let them soften a little bit. Okay, so this has been cooking for 1 to 2 minutes. As you can see, they're starting to get a little bit softer. So now I'm going to add my minced carrots, which I just did in a food processor because it makes it go a lot faster. And this is my minced garlic. So as you can see so far, this is why there's 2 greens in this recipe compared to other recipes that you may find. It's mainly veggies. Okay, so now this has been cooking for another couple of minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my ground chicken, which always looks really appetizing at the first. And this is going to cook for about 6 to 8 minutes or until the chicken is no longer pink. It should reach an internal cooking temperature of 165 if you want to temp it. Okay, so we're almost done. As you can see, it's starting to look a little bit like scrambled eggs. And so I'm going to go ahead and season it a little bit because we use a very low sodium soy sauce. And so I put a little bit of pepper in there, and then I like to season with Himalayan pink salt. Himalayan salt is actually way better for you than kosher salt or iodized salt or any other kind of salt because it's all natural, it's full of minerals, and it actually does not raise your blood pressure the way that regular salt does. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is add in our soy sauce. Again, it's the low sodium. We're gonna add in our sesame oil, and again, I cut the original recipe in half. The red pepper flakes, I just put in a tiny bit because I can always add more to mine because my kids won't eat it if it's too hot. And then the water chestnuts are last. You're just gonna simmer this down until most of the liquid is simmered down. Then you're going to stir in your cilantro and serve on lettuce. So again, 1 cup, so 1 green container of this is gonna count as a green and a red. Your lettuce that you're serving it on is going to count as your other green, and then you have to count it as 2 teaspoons because of the oil and the soy sauce that you are putting into it. Oh man, this is smelling so good. Our last step is to put in our cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you can always leave that part out. And then you give it a quick stir and serve it with a slotted spoon in your lettuce leaves. Now, like I said, this is a quadruple batch. So what we will do is we will go ahead and eat tonight, and then everything that's left, I will pre-measure out in 1 cup servings into little Ziploc baggies and stick it in the freezer and label it green, red, and 2 teaspoons. And then then all I have to do, like for lunches and stuff, is grab out my little baggie and get some lettuce leaves, and I'm good to go. One mess, lots of meals. So here we are, finished with our Asian lettuce wraps. So yummy, it smells great, can't wait to dig in. One thing I want to tell you is anybody can cook, guys. Don't let recipes overwhelm you. Don't let the planning overwhelm you. Don't let any of the instructions overwhelm you, because literally if you can read, you can cook. Just take it 1 step at a time. If you need any help, contact me. I would love to help out, because remember, you are made for more.